it looks like they're striking some of the blue. Correct, Jill?
Yes, blue is what's existing and we
Yep.
strike it out.
It was black.
It was
Yep.
black.
No, I got it. Yep. Anybody have anything on page 1? Once again, we cannot take action tonight. We just are here to hopefully get some clarifications, both from you and us. We ready to go to page 2?
Oh, no.
What's that?
I was wondering about these statutes
Yeah, I don't,
on page 1.
yeah, we don't have that in front of us. I would say at one of our meetings too, we'll have to take some time and look those up.
Every time I looked up something.
Do you guys have the statutes?
Do we have
Do
one?
you have the state statutes?
I guess we do.
As far as what that says on page 1, what those ones are?
Do we have 2 on one and 2 on the other? I don't have it here with me,
Okay,
those 2.
that's okay. I've gotten through most of them, but the other ones that were cited, I didn't see those ones.
We can look it up real quick.
Here again, like I said, it's gonna take some time to digest all this, so
We know that.
and I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you that I read it email. I've been busy harvesting some corn, so this is the first time I'm laying my eyes on it. What's that one? I would be curious about those statutes read too, but I got a note made that we need to look those up.
Well, Malcolm will probably bring it up real quick.
You want the statutes? On page 2,
On page 1, 18.2 and 101.
page 1, okay.
18.2, 101 through 18.2, 115.
There's paper copies up there too, but I will pull it up.
So it's a lot longer going through.
Maybe not. I'm Malcolm, maybe not.
Sometimes. So 18.2.101 is general powers of the
From
counties.
the county, yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. So.
we own the courthouse, that's what it
Yeah.
says.
What was 103? Alright,
That we have to provide space for the courts. Yep.
if you just click on the,
So if you look at chapter 2,
Mhm.
it's general powers, property, buildings, joint city county, housing authorities, senior citizen advisory.
What's 15?
Jill, what would be your just off the cuff intent of that section right there? The areas you shed. Do you remember at all about how that statute read?
The 115,
Yeah,
he has it right up there, or he did have it up there. It's a nuisance statute.
did you provide in your, hang on, before I ask the question, I'll look. We moving on to page 2.
oh, I don't see you're asking.
I can answer my own question, I looked.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if you wanna go back to that, personnel. Yes.
I think that's just a,
And my recommendation would be if you feel the inclusion of statutory citations, really anything you want to include or don't, I think the county attorney's office should review, of course.
Mhm.
And so I would really impress upon them the need to look at those statutory citations and make sure they work.
Right.
And so, I
and
think
who's gonna define
And,
reasonably enjoy?
and as far as the statutes, they don't really have to do with planning and zoning.
No, that's a state statute.
No, but
That's
there's planning and zoning section to the state
I
statute.
got you.
This isn't part of that, this is
Yeah,
the
what
county
she's, that's the
itself.
county.
Chairman Marty. Quick question or a little background. We incorporated these statutes from existing existing regulations from Sweetwater County in Wyoming and also Goshen County. And then the FAA came from Niobrara County, just to give you a little caveat. And both of those bills in Sweetwater and Goshen are passed and in existing.
Okay.
You do?
Yeah. But I think that's gonna come at the state level.
Well, and later on in the, if we have in here too, they do reference, that's why it has been added to the definitions, because they have a large section.
Where are you guys at?
Page 2 still.
We just started the definition section. What are you thinking on 3?
Well, I think that depends on if we end up putting in some of the other verbiage that we have at the end.
That's what I said, I'm just reading through the definitions until we get into the,
Yeah, as far as what I have for the definitions, I think are okay. So, I mean, there's some that are not needs to be there, but what this, the change should be more than this potential goal.
I guess I have a question on page 3, where it talks about non-commercial. The 25 kW, is that the small?
Your house.
Residential ones.
Right.
Put a solar panel on your house.
I've seen some that are bigger than that. I'm not sure of the sizing. I guess we need to look at that, I think.
And I think
At the end of the statute, we didn't, there is a place for them, and we didn't go into that one at all. That's on page
At the end of the regulations, you mean?
yeah, it comes at the very end.
50-something at the very end, that it addresses all of that.
Mhm.
And we just left it as it was.
Mhm.
That way, I thought I had a copy, but that way I can keep notes of
Oh.
what you're asking for.
Doesn't REA put up the small wind towers?
I don't put them on.
No.
No, I don't.
But
put
you
them-
accept power from it?
Yes.
Yes,
Is that kind of a standard?
the 25 kW.
You think that needs to be changed? And then there's one couple. Yeah. This still on 2, 3, and then on 4, and then 4.
So Jay, on section, line 13, you're just wanting to make sure that 25 kW's what size that is and if that's like residential or.
Right, I guess either solar or wind generator.
Yeah, I think it says the same thing. There's no- I'm not sure if it's something in the definition, but I know that.
And then on page 4, on 17, the prohibition is crossed out. I guess reconstruct.
I would count it in top.
I guess, can you guys kind of explain what you had in mind there?
Why the blue in through prohibition?
Well,
Why
and on the end, it talks about
it is
it is unlawful to
reconstruct.
locate, erect, construct, or reconstruct. So if a project's already been permitted and some, maybe faulty concrete or something, you know, they might have to rebuild.
I guess I'm not finding exactly where you're at on
Some-
section A.
Line 17,
Line
page 4.
17 on page 4.
I guess that reconstruct included in case they had to bring new items for new more technology.
Like an
That's-
update or something.
Yeah, that's what we were kind of incorporating it in from Sweetwater on that one and Goshen on, they both added that to their regs.
In the wind industry, they would call it a repower, where they, as equipment ages and becomes more unreliable, it might be more efficient to just repower the field rather than trying to repair it.
And so
So,
the way this reads, that would be unlawful to do that, to repower, improve?
not without, if you obtain a permit.
As long as they,
it would be-
As long as it
read a little bit
says-
farther, that as
Yeah.
long as they obtain
Okay.
a permit.
Just like it would be unlawful to build one without a permit.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that would be that the repower equipment could be dramatically different from what was originally there.
Can I ask you a question in the back? If that were the case, sorry to put you on the spot, and I forget your name. Anthony. Anthony. How often would that happen, or could that happen? Like, what's the lifespan, in your opinion, of a turbine? Or is it 25 years? Is it 12? What is that number?
Yeah,
Ballpark?
you know, as this is a workshop for
Yeah.
the public, we just wanna sit here and listen and hear what the folks have to say. We definitely wanna, share our thoughts, when the time is right, for sure. Right now, we just wanna hear what folks have to say and respectfully listen, to the comments from both the commission and the folks in the room, for sure.
So you don't want to give me an answer, is that what you're telling me?
I don't know the answer off the top of my head.
Okay, that's all right. Page 4.
Well, I think that,
Which one?
I think that all of that on B, I don't think that needs to be, because that's all part of the regulations, the statutes and stuff too.
26.
Kind of, we've done that in 22. Okay.
Oh, you don't like any of that?
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be that. already there. It's just kind of,
Redundant.
I think so. From what I've read. Unless you guys get something else. And I'm not sure about the. I didn't make pre-notes on it from what I was reading earlier. So. I don't know if the statutes are-
Page 5.
Well,
Do you know, is there, Jill, Lucinda, has there been a case of bribery? I mean, what prompted that one? Page 5, number 1, D.
I think it's just a protection to the county to mention that, to have that included,
I think that,
and that,
our current.
and it is a Wyoming statute.
Yeah, and it's already.
Anthony, did you get a copy of these by chance?
No, we did not. No, sir.
Would you like one?
We would very much appreciate one, yes, sir.
Malcolm, can we make that happen?
Doing it right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to reiterate, the purpose of this meeting is to go through these, but we cannot limit it to one side. We need to hear
From both.
their side, your side.
Our side.
No,
their side.
when we ask, I'm just saying, he needs a copy of what, I'm not complaining, not pointing a finger, I'm just saying that I think
What our current regs
to
say, if it's
be right,
for this
they need a copy.
Particular section.
Agreed.
Well, we agree. This one I'm
On
probably
page 5.
I think that
Well, I don't know who's
penalties,
gonna, I don't know
I
who's gonna
think that
enforce it.
prohibition and penalties is fine
Two
by our
colors.
current
The way it
regs.
reads.
Personally. I don't think we need to add any of the other stuff.
Sorry, Marty, where you at now?
Correct, because they're current, it's just.
We're
A
just,
and
well,
B,
we're,
and that's their-
obviously, we're not making changes, but we're just, the board's having a discussion on,
Section 132040.
Yeah.
Prohibition and penalties.
Because my thought was, I'll just kind of keep notes along the way of,
what
how we
we're-
need to revisit it and
If-
look up and.
essentially, if you were to make changes, because you can't make a decision, but you could give me some direction of what to add, what not to add,
Mhm.
and then,
What we need to talk to the attorney about.
so I'm just keeping notes along the way of stuff that you might like to keep or not.
So basically from B to there, yeah. I'm not sure we can have that in.
And then,
I think G is what's in there now, and we feel that's adequate.
I would maybe agree on under the penalties.
Which one?
On-
Ours, it's right here.
Yeah, on ours, yes. You know, they have much higher penalties added in, so I don't know if we want to maybe consider that more than 750 per day. I don't know if it's 5,000 per day.
Yeah, I think there could be a happy medium in
I
there.
think that we could, yeah, we could do a little bit more. Fine with both, 750 isn't much.
That's what we recommended.
Wouldn't I recommend that we hire it, but I don't know if we want to go as high as 5,000.
Jay, Bob, what's your thoughts on that?
Bob and Jay.
I'm reading, excuse, what'd you say?
Turn the hearing aid up. What do you think of paragraph F?
We're on page 5. Right there. On F.
No, I know. They went to 5,000.
You think that's 750 per day up to 5,000 per day is
Just,
too much? Or do you think that that's reasonable? I think we should go higher than 750, maybe go higher.
What do you think,
What do you
just
thoughts?
guessing on that?
What's that?
You were saying you're thinking that to go higher?
Higher than the
Higher than
750.
what we have
I think that
currently.
you guys
Correct.
we're thinking
are
you're
okay,
too
but
high,
I think that 5,000 might be too
we
much.
try to make a compromise.
Right, I just hadn't heard her full sentence.
Yeah, agree that it should probably be higher.
How would we go
I
about
don't know
collecting
what that-
a violation anyway as a county?
I was wondering about that too. Because we have to go through the county attorney, right?
Yeah, the attorney question, I would think.
Yeah, I believe it's a suit, circuit court essentially. But I can answer that question.
Okay.
There's a statute that references that,
What is it?
In the planning and zoning,
109.
109.
which is not part of the planning and zoning, but it's, right, on the
Right.
county level.
And was the 5,000 something derived from like Sweetwater County? or-
Who's gonna monitor it?
I don't remember theirs exactly, she can look them up, but we just knew the 750 was not, so
Right.
Who's gonna-
we go up to, welcome to our world right now. Nothing 750 bucks for a fine.
Malcolm, can you tell us what 81109?
Yeah, that is under, what is it?
That's the
In Goshen County.
Goshen County. We think it was, we're pretty sure it came from Goshen County.
Well, yeah, that's,
Um,
that's where the money.
Goshen County had to.
Right.
Yeah, this doesn't say anything
Yeah.
about how much or should be or anything, it's just where the money should go. If there is a penalty. I would think the penalty would be set by the
What
court,
is,
wouldn't it?
what is the whole, what is
I
this
don't know.
chapter?
You can set a penalty by statute and then you gotta go to court to collect.
General.
And if you do collect, then it tells you where you're gonna put
That was
the.
my question, though. Who's gonna monitor the situation to
That's not even part of
Warranty
the
if
county
there's-
anyway.
a penalty to be had?
So I was kinda wishing the county attorney would be in here also.
Yes.
There's a lot of legal questions.
Yes.
Well, I think we're faced with that and other challenges in planning and zoning.
Yeah,
Number one, we don't have enough money in the county to provide an enforcement officer. As much as we would like one sometimes, it's just not conceivable.
So how did you uphold the 750 in the first place? Because that was what was in
We've
there.
never had to.
Never had to, oh my,
No.
okay. Well, fair enough, because there's
and-
no enforcement officer.
No,
Yeah.
never had to, though.
That's news to us.
I mean, if you're self-regulated,
Wouldn't that be awesome?
well, any more on page 5? A lot of it so far is just verbiage.
It is. What's that? This, that should stay in now.
I think this needs to stay.
37 and 38.
Did you get that, Malcolm? 37 and 38
On page 5, that they struck the blue.
needs to stay in.
Here again, when we say it needs to stand, this will have to change, and then we'll have to hear these exact things during the public hearing.
Yep.
These are just questions we have.
Yep.
Just clarification, so you don't sit there thinking we're making changes.
We're good, Marty.
Okay. I think it's best if we're all on the same page. No pun intended, we're going to page 6.
That's an easier page.
It is. So G on this page is not in our current regs. It should be in red,
Which one?
G.
Approved wind turbines?
Our current regs go from National Electric Code to signage.
I don't see how we could limit it to foreign made, or have no foreign made components, we wouldn't have any.
I agree.
Could you say that again, please? Limit to what?
G on page 6,
Okay,
at the time of application,
we need to add the word adversary, foreign adversary, which that would match the executive order from the Trump administration that's existing right now.
where do you want
Right
that?
after
Right.
foreign, insert
Right after,
adversary.
insert, yeah,
Foreign adversary
foreign
made components?
adversaries made components, yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't either. I don't know how we can.
That's in the
never
big,
force
beautiful
anybody
bill
to
that
abide
passed.
by that anyway, either,
What's that?
that we would never be able to force anybody to abide by that.
I don't think- There again, we don't have a person to enforce it. Who's gonna
Well,
check it?
true, but I just don't
In
think it's,
4
I
years,
just
it might
don't
be
think it's
totally different.
reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we would
And
have
like I
that.
said, G is not in our current regs.
Oh, none of them
None
is?
of G is in our current regulations.
So that should
I
all be
think we
red.
should strike it. Thoughts, you guys, you awful quiet down there.
So we
Takes a
need to
little
come
bit
back
for
and
the
visit
sound to
G
get down
on
to
page
us.
6.
Strike
You
it.
didn't give us
Yeah.
your thoughts. G, what do you think?
G on page 6.
Feel that
That's what I
on line 1, Marty, this is way outside of my lane, but there, it's stricken in ag districts. And I don't know, Doug, I'm just wondering
No, that needs to
what your
be,
thoughts are. It's an
I would
easy one
say
to,
that needs to be left in there personally. I'm glad you caught that.
What were you saying?
Right up at the top.
Right at the very top. Jill, just so you know,
Oh,
or Lucinda, where it says,
oh, yeah. For
a section of this permitted in
locations.
commercial and industrial, and then you scratched an agriculture classification. It's gonna be pretty tough to find commercial industrial out in the county somewhere, I mean, on a ranch or, it's gonna be ag land. I think that one's gonna be a hard one for me to get over.
That and agriculture isn't one of our classifications,
Mhm. Well, it's right, Rams.
RAM.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, whatever. Easy tie.
Okay, good catch, Malcolm.
Page 6.
At least this makes it right.
What page are you on?
Same, same.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't talk about those here.
Yeah, we'll continue.
Yeah.
I have one question on minimum blade height. Should there really ever be a structure within the fall zone of a tower? We're giving clearances above structures that are within the fall zone of the tower. Do you really want any structures within the fall zone of the tower?
I wouldn't think there would be.
Transformers.
I thought somewhere in our setbacks there was, you had to be so far from a structure.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're on down
right,
in a few more pages, yes.
So that would appear to be in conflict with the
Yes,
regs.
I agree
yeah.
with you.
yeah.
Every tower has a transformer on it though. That's a structure above ground. Right at the base of every tower has a transformer.
But that's owned
And
by
that
the
that's
developer.
considered a structure
I
then,
would
Ian?
assume it's a structure. Yeah. You would probably need a building permit.
County needs a little money.
Yeah.
Get you a bigger room.
we need to question that one, it'd be. Is that what you're saying? Dig into that a little bit,
Yeah.
or later in this document, it
Marty,
might,
I have a question. So,
if you would, I know everybody here probably knows your name from now, if, please,
Yes.
if you would, just so we know.
Steve Shockley. So in order to be permitted, they would have to meet the minimum setback from a structure, so there never could be a structure there. But with that, keep a landowner from putting a structure at his own free will, wherever he wants it on his property, under a turbine. And that may be in a lease agreement with the turbine operators too, so.
That's good.
I think the transformer would be part of the turbine, wouldn't it? I mean, you wanna put something, I see your Steve's
He's
point
saying, I
is-
think Steve's saying if there's a turbine on my place and I wanna build a calving shed within the fall zone,
That should be.
I would say
In the
that's up to
agreement
me
or
to do it,
something.
but I would say at that point, there's gonna be a disclosure that says I can't hold the wind turbine people liable.
And there
Common
may be-
sense
There may
says-
be
Yes.
something in the lease agreement that,
I'm a prime example. Cell phone tower, 50 feet from my calving shed. The cell phone tower was there long before the calving shed was there. I call the company, I say, hey, what's your regs? They say, you can do what you wish, but if our tower falls on your shed, we're not liable. Sent me a document, I signed off, I'm good to go.
will the insurance cover it then?
As far as I know, yes, because the actual site of the cell phone tower it's prescribed, but it doesn't say anything about any outside structure.
Chairman Marty,
Yes.
we address these setbacks in detail later on in the center of this, and it explains about buildings and so on and so forth.
Okay. Let's move on.
Sorry, our county health, public health does not do sewer or water permits.
Right.
Where
So just
where are you at?
I was gonna strike that.
Sorry, page 6, line 18. Just a,
What county health department
So,
does not need, should not be there.
So the red, no.
Yeah, let's strike that.
okay.
Okay.
And if this is boring to anybody and you wanna leave, go for it.
I came
You're not gonna offend us, so now you.
I don't know if we,
Body, we're good.
I don't know if we need to call out red stuff in there either, I don't know, because
On the
it
same,
says it, it says it. Two cents.
That's what we said.
Well, that's the way I see it. Maybe we'll see it.
Are we still on page 6?
Yeah, on up.
Okay,
Did that right next to here?
So you would possibly take that out?
Oh, so we take that out? It's kind of in the regs anyway.
what's that?
From what I've read, we go or anyway.
F.
I don't know why it's. The answer needs to be more.
Are you talking about F in its entirety or just the new parts?
The new part of it. Signage is kind of the same thing,
Yeah, I think that's the same.
it's just kind of being minimal. At the top. Because what it does say nothing like.
It's right there with it. If you cross that, it's the same.
Pretty it's pretty much, but I don't think it's gonna hurt to leave it in there.
Yeah, I agree, I think leave it in there.
I don't think it's gonna hurt a thing.
Mr. Chair, I've got a question if I could, please.
Fire away.
On page 6 under G. Jill, what's the California Energy Commission got that the national code does not have? I just have heartburn with California regulating the state of Wyoming.
I get that, but that was already existing in the regs, so we didn't look into what California actually had. It was already in your
It's
regs.
not in our existing regs.
Pardon me?
I have a copy of our existing regs, that was not in our.
It's those that
Oh.
you
So
probably
here,
copied from the other counties.
here's our existing rates on the screen, Bonnie.
Well, then I have the wrong copies, but that's what I showed.
And Bonnie pointed this out earlier, it goes from NEC to signage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about just cutting it out,
Yeah.
taking it out.
To me,
We're
any, I
striking
mean,
that whole paragraph.
there you go.
Yeah.
It should have been in red to begin with.
I agree.
We're looking where we got
No, it's
that.
not.
Now we have to set back.
Okay.
Where is the setback here?
Really open. So, quarter to 2 miles.
Yeah, but looking at this here, what is the difference here? Doesn't this fit the same as that?
Yeah, it's just kind of like a typo. It's like, why not just change all, they changed all of it to that.
Okay.
It's
So, yeah, I understand that, yeah.
That part, yeah.
But this here is, this is 1/4 of a mile.
If I could, I'd like to point out on item C, line 31.
If you would, please state your name.
Mike Kelly.
Thank you.
The regs currently will say that 110%, 1.1 times the overall height of the tower. So with a 500-foot tower, it'd be 550 feet from a property line. So the problem with that is that it's a property rights issue, because the regulations also say that you have to be at least a 1/4 mile or 5.5 times the overall tower height from a building. So, for instance, if I were part of a participating landowner and I had a property line next to Dan, and I sited a tower at 110% of the tower height on his property line, he would be prohibited from building a building within over a 1/2 mile of that tower. That's property rights violation. So something has to be reconciled between, with that. What that distance ends up being, I don't know. And it's gonna vary by current regulations depending on the size of the tower. But there's no way to, common sense says that my neighbor shouldn't be able to build a building or build a structure that prohibits me from full use of my property. Does that make sense? So there are some issues with the setbacks that are serious issues over property rights. I'm all for property rights. But the knife cuts both ways. So It's not just the property rights of the people who want to build a wind farm. It's also the property rights of every citizen in the county.
And Marty?
Yep. Yes.
Malcolm has highlighted what was talking about, like you had on your personal thing, the landowner in residential dwelling or occupied structure may waive the setback.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Which
Malcolm.
means they could build within the area if they chose to.
If they chose to
So
take
it's
the
not
risk.
down their property rights.
What's the board think of that
Well, I wanna
setback?
know how tall is the standard structure?
Anthony, how tall is the standard turbine?
What is the turbine height, like a average turbine height?
They vary from turbine to turbine. The ones we're contemplating using are 499 feet from the bottom all the way to the top of the blade. We'll call it 500.
How many meg tower is that, the 500-foot one you just stated?
The GE 2.82 megawatt machine.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, going by five and a half times, 500, 3,000 feet.
I don't know, I don't.
But it
Out here, we're
locates
talking-
shall it be located.
You're talking about the
Closer.
Yeah.
Dwelling or structure less than 5.5 times the tower height. So if the tower height is 500 feet, then we're talking like 3,000 feet, right?
2750. Yep, that's what you're talking.
Half a mile.
That's more realistic than 3 miles.
Agreed.
Well, doesn't this appear, this is where it changes, right? So this is, we have a quarter of a
Right,
mile, and
right.
they're trying to change it to
3.
3 miles.
Yeah, so we're
So then it
saying,
comes down here, and this says the same thing as a quarter mile, or less, actually.
no, it's more. 5.5 times is a bigger setback than if they're 500 feet tall. 500 times
So are
5.5
we-
is 2750.
So,
Quarter mile is only 13,
1320,
yeah, 1320.
2640
So
is
in this same, I mean, the way it was before, didn't we have two different setbacks in there?
Yeah.
Right, because it's from
Yeah,
residential
you are right.
Or is it-
structure as well as property line.
So why don't we go with one or the other? Did you guys have a problem with that?
Pardon me. Sorry, we were looking for,
Because
still
this-
hunting on the
this one's
California
still-
thing, sorry.
C says the 1.1
Right.
So that's another.
from the property line contiguous to or adjacent to the facility.
I think in all that, it's just kind of mud.
I think it's kind of a mess
Well,
too.
it has to be both, like you said, because, I mean, it is a mess, but it's not because if you're not at least,
But see, the thing,
if you're not at least that far, the 5.5 times from, I guess you'd have to be 5.5 times from the property line and the structure.
but there shouldn't be.
There should be a structure if it's
Chairman?
not on your property, yes.
So, I'm just trying to understand this too.
Yeah.
The setback would be from the property line. Currently, it's 1.1 times the tower height
Right.
From the property
from
line.
the property line.
Mhm.
And it's currently a quarter mile or 5.5 times the tower height from the structure.
Correct, current.
So
Structure on the other person's property, is that what we're saying?
Or any structure.
any structure.
Any structure, any occupied structure.
So if I own a piece of property and I allow them to put a tower within 1.1 of the property line, that's all right as long as there's no structures within a quarter mile.
Correct.
But if you're the one putting the tower on, do we need to have that structure or that statement in there? Because
So.
you're the one doing it, and it's not gonna affect your neighbors if you are.
So if the neighbor decides he wants to put a structure on his side of the property line,
We're still
We have to do-
certain
after the
distance away.
fact, it's up to him whether he wants to. It's similar to your
Similar to the cell phone tower.
cell phone tower.
Correct.
But if he didn't want to locate a structure that close for safety reasons, then he just is out of luck. So his right, his personal property rights as a landowner are impacted negatively.
The neighbor,
The neighbor,
you mean?
yeah, the
So-
non-participating neighbors,
So then the other neighbor has control over the first neighbor's property.
right,
I
and that's the issue.
Morning, Mayor.
Yep.
I'm Malcolm Road, I'm the honorary zoning clerk.
And we're
So-
very thankful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's three questions that this section makes you answer. How far away from a structure should it be? How far away from a property line should it be? How far away from a transmission line should it be? And I think there's some cleanup that can happen in just some wording and that essentially would say the towers shall be set back, whichever of these is greatest. And then I think some verbiage in that property line one of if an adjacent landowner chooses to build within that setback area, that's their decision to do so, something along those lines. But I think really the crux is those three questions. How far away from a structure, how far away from a property line where there is no structure, how far away from a transmission line?
Why the transmission line?
Yeah, I don't think a transmission line is an
There's,
issue. They're all-
in easements and all transmission lines, there's regulation that
Yeah,
they're 300 feet, 150 feet wide, and you don't go inside that.
And I just say that because that's existing currently.
That's in our.
But I
existing
agree with this
regulations.
gentleman about, you take 1 foot over here, you might impact 1 foot over on the neighbor.
If I can address the transmission line, the issue is that it's a known fact that wind turbines do throw ice, they do throw blade fragments outside of the 110%. That 110% is designed if the thing just collapsed and fell to the ground and didn't throw anything. And personally, if I'm standing there with only a 50-foot safety barrier from a turbine that's coming down, I would not stay in that area. I would move away from it. I wouldn't trust 50 foot to make me safe. Or my grandkids safe if they're out mending fence along that line or riding a horse, or if my cattle are out there along that.
I don't think
wouldn't-
there's
I
any
wouldn't trust
transmission
that.
lines at the ranch that we're doing one on. They're all underground feeders.
But we're also talking about in general.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
understand.
and I think the spec was for third-party transmission
And it
lines.
says
Yeah.
third-party transmission lines and communication towers.
Yeah. So it's systems not owned by the developer, yeah.
Mhm.
So again, it becomes protecting infrastructure that's outside of that urban farm.
So what do you think of that? Does that change your opinion any? I mean, it is in our current regs that it's there, and that could be because it's also in the state statutes or something, is why we might have it in our current regs.
So are you at a restriction of, in relationship to the height of the turbine or X amount of feet?
To the transmission lines?
Yeah. Or the structure.
Well, the current regs say 5.5 times. the tower height
For
for
a
third
minimum
party
of a quarter
transmission
mile.
lines. So if the tower height is 500 feet, then you're talking 2,800 feet away
Yep.
from the transmission line or third party transmission line or tower. Half mile,
And that's current, that's our current regulations right now.
yes.
Yep, no, that's, I'm just,
But the minimum is a quarter mile.
correct.
So basically, if you had somebody that wanted to put up a 100-foot tower, if you took 5.5 times that, that's 550 feet. The minimum is a quarter mile. They'd still have to be a
They still
quarter
have to
mile.
be
Right.
further away.
I think they both almost need to stay there just because you never know what size of tower you're gonna get.
It's just a matter if we wanna change the 110% to 1.5 miles, the way that they have proposed. And the 1 mile or the quarter mile to 3 miles.
Well, I think this 3 miles is too far.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's excessive.
I think if you do that, there's not gonna be enough room out there for people to build a tower.
There wouldn't be any.
Right.
We just- Realistically, we'd shut every project down. So I don't think I'm gonna do that, so I say we gotta scratch the 3 mile.
Do we wanna go more than a quarter mile?
Jill,
Go
Lucinda,
half mile?
what'd be your next option if we strike 3 miles?
3
What'd be your
miles.
next? I'm just trying, we'd like to come to some sort of, the more we can be on the same page tonight, the faster things change.
Sure, I think part of
Because
this
it
is,
also says, our current regs also say, but in no case should it be closer than 5.5 times.
I think that's pretty,
And so I think that,
So
that's
I think-
750.
huh,
That's 2750,
Right.
5.5 times the 500 feet.
half mile,
Yeah.
yeah. So
A
instead
half
of a
mile.
quarter mile, we go to a half mile, which is basically the same anyway.
See, and
That's
that's
why
why
Would
I don't
you refer that
understand.
to Mike and give him your suggestion?
Instead of 3 miles, half mile.
I think it's. I think there's another thing that has to be addressed that is further on in the regs. And it's about fire protection. It's down in 13-2050, well, section J. And it talks, it doesn't go into any detail. It doesn't define,
I'm sorry, what page?
Yeah, what,
I don't have the page number, but it would be, you're on section
So
D
this-
there, it'd be down in section J. But what it says is that fire protection, all WEX projects shall have a defensible space for fire protection, but does not define that defensible
I
space.
don't see that.
So in Wyoming, it might be different on irrigated land than what it is up in dry land where I live. And it's gonna depend on how hard the wind's blowing, but pretty much the wind blows where I live almost all the time, so.
20 miles might not be enough, Mike, I hate to tell you.
So
We got,
what I'm saying is that,
yeah, I'm not seeing where.
what is that reasonable defensive space? We know last year, like you say, 20 miles wasn't enough.
Yes.
So, and you end up with a $5.5 million fire, right? To put it out. Now, that's the question is, your minimum setbacks are all gonna be impacted
That's what I
what
was
that
saying.
defensible
We really only just
fire
need to have
protection
that.
space looks like.
If that's what we're.
So, I'm no expert in it.
Keep that.
I'm not finding where
We're
you're
not
talking
finding
about.
that J.
I
Yeah.
think it's on page
If you go down to,
What page?
13.
Oh,
yeah.
way down there.
Oh, under
So that's all
fire.
stuff that they've added also, and so.
I only bring it up now because
we
it
don't
does
have
impact
that
what
in
you're
our
talking
current
about.
regs.
Steve, I got a
Oh, we
question
do
for
have
you.
fire protection. in our current regs.
Going back to the setback, to me, it looks like the beginning of A
On page 5.
on page 7.
Sorry.
The quarter of a mile doesn't really affect because we have the 5.5 and that wouldn't that oversee the quarter of a mile?
So the quarter mile would only go into effect if you had a tower
If it was a shorter
shorter
Right.
than your
Yeah.
1300.
But it would still be 5.5 of the,
But it still has.
So if you had a 100-foot tower and you said 5.5 times the height of the tower, that would be 550 feet, which is less than a quarter mile. But the
so that's why
minimum,
that's in there. is-
the minimum is a quarter mile, so basically, you cannot have anything within a quarter mile.
So Bill, basically, if any tower is
So the
bigger
break-even
than
point
240
is,
feet.
from engineer Jolovich, is 232 feet, basically.
So if there's a tower less than that, then the quarter mile just kicks in.
Yeah.
Okay, then I can see leaving it in there. Otherwise, I couldn't see the purpose of having both of them in there.
And I don't know if a quarter or a 100-foot or 200-foot tower is even something that they consider.
Yeah, without the 3
It
miles.
doesn't, it's in.
What page are you on?
I think
This is
it's
6.
7. I think it should be more than a quarter of a mile, because we're talking in this particular one about
We can't,
residences.
True.
This is people, these are people
And we
living, so that
can,
is
we
different.
can always make other recommendations based on the particular project. So even that's what our regs say, we can put a recommendation to the commissioners that they can have this permit as long as they abide by these extra things that
we call them
that we decide
conditions. We
conditions
put
that we-
side conditions
that
on
we put in there.
different permits. We can do that.
We can do that to any special use permit. We can
Does that
put-
make sense?
We can put extra conditions.
We're learning all this stuff.
Well,
Marty.
if-
I'm
if-
writing it down.
if-
So even if it's not in set in stone in the
You can
regs,
add it down.
we
Right.
can add it based on other
If you,
concerns
for
that
example,
neighbors
if-
might
if-
have and
say-
whatever.
say we left these
Just the way they
the
are.
way they are, and you came in and said, you voiced your opinion, and we could say, she's right. Condition 1 needs to read X. That way, you've been heard, it's covered, and it's on their permit.
Marty.
That that's the way they have to do it.
Can I bring an expert to the table for a few minutes?
Yeah,
Can I bring an expert to the table for a few minutes?
listen, you can't limit the tower height.
No,
Okay. It's,
I'm telling you, Matt, I'm not gonna have a bid session.
I'm not, I just have one statement,
All right,
because I keep hearing the statement of tower height,
bring it in.
but the tower height isn't.
State your name if you would, please.
Matt Finnerty.
Okay,
Tower height isn't all that you gotta consider, because the blades are 120 feet tall. So that's sticking up another 100 to, depending on the type of the tower. So if you limit the wording to tower, it doesn't take into consideration the blades. That's all I have to say.
okay.
I think it
And I
does,
think ours says in our regulations,
I think it's
the
the-
blade
the
height is
structure
12
height.
o'clock.
Okay.
so the definition of tower height,
Right.
Is the top of the blade at 12
With the blade.
what's the page in? I think that's your.
That's back in.
Wasn't a
there.
good session, Marty.
Nope, you're good. You don't have to go.
I'll go hide in the back room again.
Yeah, I'll leave.
I'll go get him again.
Thanks, Matt.
Doesn't it say anybody?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the back.
So then, what is this down here? 1.10.
When the 110% basically.
Yes, exactly.
From, well, so that's from the property.
From the property.
Property line. So. They can't put a tower, even though it's 5.5 times away from this structure over here.
Yeah, the-
It still has to be that far away
From the
from the
property
property
line.
line. From
Correct.
neighboring property.
So if it's neighboring unimproved property, then the minimum, the setback would be that 1.1 currently. But if on the opposite side of that line was a home, then that section A kicks in. And that's why I
I
was saying,
understand that.
I think a way to reword this section, make it a little clearer, would be the greater of these shall apply. So whichever setback is the largest is the one that should apply.
And that would protect
Did you get it?
So are you still at a quarter of a mile?
We're still, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're still leaving that kind of how it read to begin with, I think. Bonnie?
Yes.
So if I understand what you guys are saying, that you can add addendums on that, so if they brought in a 680-foot turbine, you could adjust accordingly up as
Absolutely.
well?
Well, it'd still be
Oh,
five
well,
and a half.
sure,
Still be
but
5.5
they would-
times.
they
Right,
still
but
have
it
to
would
have-
change the actual, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
which
I
So
is,
feet
understand
would
what
be
you're
even
saying.
more.
the distance would become greater.
Right, I just wanted to understand, make sure, thank you.
But at the same time, if they come in on a 300-foot one,
Right,
It would
the
lower.
minimum would be according to.
quarter of a mile.
Quarter mile, yes.
Yep.
It would, minimum is always a quarter mile according to the
So I
statutes
think
now.
that we can leave those setbacks how we have. And then make conditions accordingly to, if we need to.
I just wrote down, we need to get back to this section,
And get back to that, clarify.
talk about the greater setback should apply. Or
Yeah.
would apply, or how it would apply.
Okay.
And I think that, if you just put that in there, that would.
This one,
So you're saying the distances would not
Yes.
change?
that.
Correct.
As per-
Well, and it actually says that. That where multiple setbacks are applicable, the most restrictive shall apply.
Oh, yeah, it does right up there.
That's the last sentence.
So it's just, it still is saying, it still is just outlining if you're from a dwelling or occupied structure, or if you're from a property line, or if you're from a transmission line or communication tower, whatever.
Quick question. On C, have you decided on what word, have you gotten there yet?
On the setbacks?
And that is at 1.1?
Yes.
That's property line.
That's just.
So we're
the
talking
property
about
line.
the, that was Mike's point, I think. Right. So 500-foot tower, we're talking 550
50
feet.
From the property line.
From the property line,
But if there's a structure right on the other side of the property line, then it has to be 5.5
5.5
times
times.
the structure, the height of the turbine.
The point I was making was, though, in the future, that restricts the neighbor from being able to build there unless he's willing to site a structure on his property within that. The provision is that, hey, yeah, if I want to build one that close, I could sign off on it and do it. But I don't want to build an occupied, I don't want to build, I don't want to donate a corner of my property to my grandkids and have them build a house within 550 feet of a tower. It would be crazy to do that.
Well, I don't think your grandkids would do it, period, so I think it's a moot point, really.
Well, but what I'm
I mean, I
saying
know what
is
you're
that-
saying,
But
but
still, it is taking away,
It's taking away.
it is
his land.
taking away his property
Yeah.
rights to not be able
He
to
can't
build
use
within that amount of distance from the tower either.
But
I
then
think
you're
it should
taking
be
away
that.
the first person's property by limiting what he can do with it too. So somewhere, somebody's gonna lose some property.
so they think.
Yeah.
I mean, myself included, we all get butthurt sometimes.
Mhm.
We don't
Sure
get
do.
things our way. So,
I think the quarter of a mile is where we should be on that one myself.
On the, instead of 550 feet, add another couple hundred feet to it, make it a quarter mile.
And I mean, that keeps the developers
1,000 feet.
from developing too close to you.
to the property line.
Well,
It's no different
And-
in town here, you have
The
to
next
say.
the next one talks about, like subdivisions. We still have that one, but we haven't done anything with it.
No, I think that needs to be the quarter of a mile myself.
What do you guys think?
Feel that's on C?
Quarter mile from the property
Yeah,
line?
quarter mile's a long way. I'm just looking back a few years ago, a guy out of Florida bought a section east of Chugwater, Wyoming, in hopes of wind development. There happens to be a main transmission line on the eastern boundary of the section. So at a quarter of a mile, you just have taken 25% of his property.
Mhm.
And easy figuring $1,000 an acre today, lot of change. no matter what you do, when you're gonna affect everybody's property rights, and where that balance is a son of a gun.
And that's why I'm presenting it to you guys, you know. And I sent an email with those, just a few concerns. I printed a copy of it out. I didn't put any dimensions in it. I'm just pointing out
Yeah,
conflicts.
nope.
Yeah,
No, and what you're saying is true, Bob. It affects both parties.
Yeah,
The developer that's wanting to put the wind turbine 550
Yeah, and
feet
the
from the
neighbor,
property.
yeah.
And the neighbor that's not wanting it that close. I mean, you're affecting both property rights there, so
Nope.
it needs to be a.
no, and it's,
We can't sit there.
sometimes
The only
it's a
thing is
booger
about-
sitting here just to make a recommendation to the commissioners, and it's gotta be a son of a gun for the commissioners to decide.
The thing about it is the developer that's wanting to put it 500 feet away, he could go to the landowner across the boundary and say, hey, here's a little something
Yeah.
to allow me to be that close to you too. So,
Well, the landowners are gonna change. There might be an agreement between you and I sell off, now
So-
you've got Joe to deal with.
but if that turbine company rents,
So agrees.
leases that 500 feet from the neighbor, it'll be on the deed. So then the new neighbor gotta see it,
True.
or gonna know when he buys it, that he doesn't have 500 feet of the property or whatever.
and Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
One comment, there's only one party getting compensated for any of this. The non-participating landowner gets zero compensation. So that should somehow enter into the equation.
So you're thinking a quarter mile is too much?
No, I just,
You just don't know.
yeah,
I'm
I
kind
don't
of
know
the same.
either.
no, it ain't, in a quarter mile, I mean, I don't think anybody wanna build a turbine next to a transmission line.
I don't think you would either.
Ian, go ahead.
What do these setbacks look like in law? Do they look like an easement? I mean, I've been wondering about that, and so it looks kind of like an easement, right? Where you go, if you have some right to the property over on the neighbor's property, it looks like an easement that you would prescribe or whatever to the landowner or to the company to go be closer than the setback allowed. I don't know how that works. I don't think it's an easement, but it's prescribed here. So is it just a straight up taking?
You could call it a
It's a regulatory
regulatory
take.
taking.
Yeah.
And when you buy real property, as y'all know, you get a title commitment, but they don't come and check out the planning and zoning
Yes.
regulations.
Yes.
And that's where that taking is gonna be, is in this document.
Yeah. That's right.
So do we wanna protect the citizens from that?
Trying to protect everybody.
I think it's our job to protect both sides the best we can and get, what's the right word?
We fought for a long time on what they call zoning certificates, and basically they're old-fashioned building permits. And there are a lot of folks out there that are in violation of that, and what do? We don't, Platte County doesn't have any money to
Yeah, we
to
can't.
hire the zoning
There
cop.
again, we don't have enforcement.
We don't have any interest in it.
Well, then do you wanna put in just a little extra buffer? So that when they initially go out there and put it in, even though they may cross their line or our line, it won't be so detrimental? You just wanna build in a little bit for the firefighters to put out the fires? One of the things, arguments I've heard
750
in the
feet.
past is that these projects are only for the big landowners. And I think we need to keep in mind that small landowners may want to take advantage of a project like this. And if you put the setbacks so wide, you'll have to have more than a section of land to participate.
Right.
Well, I own an 80-acre piece, and the way the setbacks are now, I couldn't participate, even if I wanted to. Well, that's not exactly true. If your neighbors participated, they'd buy you up with it. So that's not exactly true.
I can already tell you, we're not gonna get through all these tonight, I can tell you that.
The other thing I've got a question about is, so what are the setbacks for? The setbacks for in the event that something falls, is that right?
Safety.
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 So what's resolution look like in the event something does fall? The liability of the turbine company for any damage that's done on other private property? I think.
Anthony, can you answer that? Sorry, Ian.
Yeah.
I don't know for certain, Mr. Chairman, but I would assume that's how it works, right? We would be liable, for any damages that we caused.
As would other companies, it's like at fault, right? So
Right.
my thing is, when I'm going and balancing which property right is more important, I guess is what we're doing, that the adjacent property owner always has the option, if some damage does occur, this is, in the future, this may happen, so that we're thinking about how to minimize that damage that does happen, but if it does happen in the future, and so we're kind of guessing here, 5.5 times the turbine height, whatever, the blades throw stuff, but the reality is that if it does damage someone else's property, then there's restitution in the courts, or civilly or criminally, for any damage that does happen. So that's the actual resolution of this. We're just trying to prevent court hours.
Yep.
And the reality is, the attorney, whether it's a he or she, is gonna go after anybody and everybody that's got their name on something.
Yeah.
So on C, could you consider then, instead of 1.1, the 5.5 there?
So instead of the 1.5, Bill was saying,
I
he
mean,
wanted to see more than
I was saying-
1.1.
I was saying a quarter of a mile.
So it'd be more than 5.5 times.
make sure you're clear on that. Are you on C?
5.5 is 550 feet, a quarter mile.
If you're in a 500-foot tower.
Right, if you're at a 500-foot tower.
500-foot tower is 27 or 2,800.
That's a half.
That's a because if it's a 300-foot tower, you're at 330 feet. I mean, it's just come down that way, so maybe,
But then,
or a
well,
quarter mile.
I'm just using land that's in there.
then like Bob says, quarter mile's an awful lot too, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this needs to be
It's like a-
revisited. I mean,
Yeah,
I think we
me
need to
too. I
kind
think
of
we're kind of
digest things
stuck on
and
it.
get things.
Mostly on that C, where we would wanna see that,
Let Malcolm work on it.
on the property line.
Are you, so in revisiting, are you talking about all of
C,
the setback section or just C?
I
C.
can't see
C.
particularly.
Yeah,
So then, I hate to back up a little bit, but on Bob's question about transmission lines, communication towers, do you keep B the way it
The way it was,
is proposed or was written?
the way it was.
Or do you strike it entirely?
Oh, I think it should stay in personally, but, what do you guys think?
I'm good with
On B.
5.5 times.
D,
But on B, what?
On
do you
B.
think that it- Yeah, do you think that whole thing should be struck or just leave it the way it was?
I think leave it the way it was.
I think it should stay in there.
I think it needs to stay in there.
And C is the portion you want to revisit.
Yes.
See, revisit what that setback should really be.
And I'd like to come back and look at this.
And then which one, on B?
C.
Oh, C would be good.
I think so.
We're thinking we'd do away with the tower.
This one.
We're gonna move to page 8. What prompted your 3-mile setback from any city or town?
City or town, because they're, okay,
Infrasound?
infrasound, mostly, the problems, that's 12 miles, so, and 3 miles from a town seems, because you have so many people there that could be affected by this, from the safety hazards of this.
Are you guys
Are
familiar
you
with what
talking-
infrasound is?
Yeah,
You are?
tractor noise.
Catherine can share if you're not fully understanding it.
But I'm digesting your 3 miles. I'm just thinking of
Sure.
other wind turbines around the state. I think they're closer than 3 miles.
Yeah,
Like
we
the
live
one up
3
in-
miles out of Glendale, that's quite a distance.
Yeah.
Which is far enough for me,
And I'm thinking the ones around Glen Rock and
Around
Casper,
Glen Rock, they're much
Jasper,
closer
and
than
Cheyenne.
Glen Rock.
There's, I mean, out there at Horse Creek Road there.
yeah.
I've got a question. If the city and towns and municipalities get a say within a mile, why not leave it at that? Why are we trying to, I don't know, influence the town, give them a bigger grasp on what we do? That to me seems like they're kind of encroaching on us. It's already a pain in the ass, 1 mile.
And that 1 mile's for everything.
It's for everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would have to agree with that
Yeah,
comment.
I think.
Well, I agree 100%,
I
and
mean,
and I
currently,
think the worst part is, Ian, I think the statute, I think they can crawl out
Yeah.
about 3 miles. There's a lady in back there that could probably answer that question.
Yeah, I can, and you're right.
It's
I've
3
already
miles.
had that discussion with him.
That's right.
They can, yep, they can go 3 miles, Ian.
I'm just trying to keep the
I
clause
agree with you.
coming into the county. No.
They haven't said anything. I just had a discussion with Ian the other day about it, but they haven't said anything. But I don't know what they're gonna, I don't know what they are gonna say.
I guess at that
So
time,
we
that
just
could be
leave
a
it.
condition.
We just leave it, yeah, and it would just depend on the town or city, I think. Yeah, just like we would leave it the way it is at this time.
You don't have to say nothing.
Can we let's set how many pages we might want to get through tonight, so we have a goal, because I can tell you, we're on page 8 and we have 50.
I can tell you right now that the safety portion of this, which is at the bottom of this page,
You bring
Let's
a
just,
list to
do we want to go?
This
No,
setback's
pretty
no, I'm not saying we're not looking, I'm just saying, there's no way we're gonna get through this in a timely manner in one session. It's not gonna happen.
so.
I would say we just go for about 1 more hour and then call it a night. Is everybody good with that?
Yep.
Another hour? Is it 7:30?
Let's go till 8:30.
I mean, really, we all have jobs, everything, not trying to push anybody away.
It's fine.
Everybody has things to do.
When would you like to get back together?
We'll figure that out when we're done.
See how far
soon.
we get.
I don't wanna let it go. I just soon get the other half of it and get it done. And then come to the public hearing,
So,
So this is already
These
covered,
these
isn't it,
other
F?
setbacks, I think are,
That's road.
it's, yeah, it's now we're talking about a road, and so, or a public, yeah, right of way.
Yeah, I think our setbacks are
I
fine.
think that they were fine as far as that, with F and G both. Yeah. I think that
Say that again.
I think that I, 1 through 3 are fine the way that we have them written. I mean, you know, they added in that the commissioners determine that a significant degradation of the visual character of the area will occur or not.
That's,
But
that's it.
this matter of opinion, and
Right.
we go by what the regs say, not opinions.
But I do think the word "the" needs to be in 3,
What's that?
required from the public. Just leave that alone.
The public.
Where they inserted
Um,
the public roads.
the required, if required from
Right.
public roads.
Right.
Public road, right of way, rights of way, beyond. Yeah, that was that.
Yep.
4 and then J and K were added in. And K is actually already in our regs under BH.
Under H.
They just took it out of BH and put it into a separate clause.
Because it's cheap.
Okay.
But you can't use it.
For J and K, we don't need. That's there.
For J and K. What?
Yeah.
Meter.
On 4, I think that that's inherent in the statute, but I think to your point earlier, Bonnie, that's just reiterating that you do have the ability to attach conditions for other reasons. So it kind of reiterates the statute, but probably a good addition. As I was thinking about it from the planner's point of view, and you're making those recommendations, here's the things I can consider for making them.
So you think that we should leave 4 in there?
I do.
Average height.
What's that, Bob?
I was looking at heights of all the different turbines.
Oh,
What is the average height?
so you're not,
318,
you're not on.
plus you gotta put the
Plus
blade
the
up
blade.
there also.
So you're still at 500.
Yeah.
But that could change tomorrow.
Hmm.
That could change tomorrow, they might make it
Yeah.
bigger.
I don't know about this, but, I don't think it needs to be there.
Which
I
one?
don't know what that actually means, J, cause I don't know how big the rotors generally are. Cause that just requires.
Yeah, I don't think the wind, I guess I can't speak on, do you have a set of these in front of you now?
I do, honestly, I have no idea where we're at anymore.
Oh, we are on page
The
8.
pages are all jumbled up, we were not.
When you guys are placing your turbines, you have demands, you have regulations in which the proximity of each turbine can be placed, correct?
Ultimately, when you're developing a site like this, you were looking to balance the health, welfare, and safety of the land and communities in which you're operating, but also you're trying to optimize to get the best out of the resource that you were looking to capture. So the answer is it really just depends.
You know, and I have toured the site that Rocky Mountain Power has out of Glen Rock, and they had anemometers out there for years because they had a coal mine out there. So they had all this wind data, and they knew exactly where they wanted to start placing towers to maximize the flow. So they had a pretty good idea.
That's exactly right. These developments are done with an extreme amount of science around meteorological data. We've been studying the natural resources, including the wind and the sun, for the last several years in the area. You become very confident in the natural resource before you ever make an investment decision. And as you all know, the natural resource in this county and where we're proposing is very, very good and very robust.
Those are your words.
I guess to your point, though,
Out there.
they're gonna, don't read it. They're gonna be under restrictions. They're gonna know how far apart to put their towers.
This comes from Goshen County, this was one we borrowed. from
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
The 15 rotor diameters.
yeah.
Yeah, they did some research that the turbines do cause a lot of turbulence in that aspect, and yeah, they need to understand all that.
Mhm.
Just when they get a bunch together,
Yeah.
before you change the things.
So we'll leave 4, but then strike J and K. We'll leave 4 on Malcolm's
Okay.
suggestion. Yeah, nay, yay.
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
Hear nothing, I guess so. I don't know about the ground scale.
I don't know that, I would say.
I continue Wyoming licensed engineers.
So we don't need a 5.
Which one?
Oh, yeah, I didn't actually pay attention to that.
I would say the
Then
military's gonna tell them what's there.
I didn't, okay, so I think that we can move up.
Don't you guys think? Don't you think the military's gonna address that issue?
How far away?
How far away they're gonna have? I don't think that needs to be in there. I think the military's pretty well gonna tell them.
There's a robust process that engages the Department of Defense, so it's already gonna be captured.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't catch all of what you said.
There's a process that empowers the DoD to comment and make recommendations.
there's existing regulations on setbacks with any missile silo, even in Platte County.
Or any military. All right.
Bob, excuse me, do you know what that setback would be?
It's a 2-tier setback, but it's quite a ways. And nothing happens. They've got an immediate blast area, and then they've got a bigger area after that also. Yeah, you could look in the public records where any of these silos are or were. There, you know, I don't think we have anything active in Platte County anymore, but they didn't forgive the easements that are in place. So they're still there.
Documented easements?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
I don't wanna delay it all, but, and I know it's existing, why the change to nautical miles as opposed to just miles?
I think we were talking about just leaving it. Cause I think he was just saying the military's gonna dictate where they can and cannot build anyway.
So you're thinking,
That's when there was a sea of fleet out there.
so you're thinking E would go away in
Yes.
entirety, even though it's existing?
So, strike the whole thing?
That's original.
Your original
Yeah.
was the 2 miles.
Yeah. Or just leave it.
You know, I
just
think
leave
that
it the way
comes
it
from the
is.
state
I
regs.
think that
Yeah,
does
that's
come
what I
from
think
state
that one's
minimum
gonna
regs.
be covered, whether it's through us or not.
I think
I don't think we're gonna have a say.
But I think it's.
You're
If we,
exactly right.
if we want it to be 2 and the military says, no, it needs to be 7,
It goes along with that whole list of other departments that they
Right.
have to get in
Yeah.
contact with.
I don't
as far
think we're
as
gonna have a say in that one,
getting
neither one of us.
historical
So
sites
getting
and
back
all
to
of
Malcolm,
that.
are we just gonna
Just
strike
strike
E?
E
I think you
altogether,
could.
just out,
What do you guys think of that?
and then.
I think that,
Out it.
well, I don't know, but I'd have to go back and look at the state statutes on the military stuff, because I think that's whoever wrote these originally, they
Mhm.
used the minimum state standards to write these.
Right.
A lot of
So
these are
it's-
minimum
it's gonna
state
be there,
standards.
yeah,
Yes,
it's gonna be
some
there.
of them
You
change.
don't-
So leave it to the 2 nautical miles, just like we had it written. Ian, go ahead.
Who knows where an active military launch or control facility is? We don't get those updates.
Well, like Bob said, he doesn't think there's one in Platte County anymore. I know
They
there
wouldn't
might
tell
be
us if
one,
there
there
was.
is one north of Glencoe, but I don't know if it's actually
Yeah.
Platte or it's.
You ready for some humor, Ian?
It's like just right there by Orange.
An
That
old
was
guy
just
that
Converse
he's
County.
passed
Yeah.
away was a
It's just north of
citizen
Orange, yeah.
for a long time,
So
Roy
it's
Gamblin.
Converse County.
We were driving around in the country hunting coyotes, and he said, I said, how do you know, suppose, Roy, that which one of these sites is loaded and the other one is empty? Roy says, I always figured the one they're moving the snows at is probably the ones that are loaded. And I said, do you suppose the Russians have got that figured out too?
Let's move on.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah, I don't
Malcolm,
know. It's-
leave it in.
Leave it as it
you
is.
just
Yeah.
leave it.
That way, these folks have something to hang their hat on. The minute,
It's your red, Jim.
well, we're here
I
to,
know, I don't think they were that hooked up on
yeah.
the military facilities.
They retarded things.
So it's kind of all right, as far as on operating for.
So now we're on the safety.
Safety access.
And I guess I have a question for you on the 39 on page 8, electromagnetic interference or different cases that has affected radios or communication.
Apparently.
Yes, there's quite a bit out there.
Hmm.
There's medical referencing, there's, I think it was one of our documents with I think it was DOD, wasn't it? We can get that, it's referenced in here, this document that talks about the
Mhm.
And also, not just that, but
And we think that also came from Goshen County, she's double checking, but I'm pretty sure it came from Goshen County.
our original regs start with. Okay. Was it everything in between that is
Added.
added? And I'm gonna see if I can find it somewhere. But I think
So where did you guys get the stuff on, the safety? There's several A through
Okay.
J. It looks like it's all new stuff. Where did it come from? Maybe that would help us to.
Sweetwater County provided a lot, they have some really wonderful regulations to protect the county. So we looked there, Sweetwater County's regs. And these, my notes say that, we got a lot at the safety access from Sweetwater. So it's probably.
So in our current regs, in section 1320.050, it has in there a clause stating that the commissioners can ask for additional studies, reports, maps, graphics, whatever, depictions prepared by professional qualified, all of this stuff. It's kind of in that, all that section.
Where are you at, Brian?
So I guess.
We're looking at all your,
Personally think that that's not, I think that's a lot.
So a lot of the safety concerns, okay, there's a lot of things that we, in our research, have discovered. The shadow flicker, I'm not sure, shedding of fiberglass, are you aware of that? And also I don't know if it's the blade vent, all kinds of certain things, fire hazards, all the way down there. Those weren't in the original. So we thought that's new stuff that people have learned about the towers, the
No, I
fiberglass.
get, and I totally get that, I just think that to ask for proof of all of that and provide all of these impact studies and whatever, a lot of that comes, the commissioners can ask for that if they want it based on the project, I think, because it is in our regulations already that they are allowed to ask for additional.
But if it's listed, it's really, then they have to cover it. Otherwise it's just the old stuff. You know?
The problem is who's gonna look at this stuff in our county? I mean, all these things that are provided, is it gonna be on the commissioners to go through it and look at it?
Who does it normally? How does that work?
complaint basis.
When someone asks for an application for something,
Well, when somebody fills out an application, if we have additional questions, us as a board will address it. At that time is also when we're in a public hearing usually, and so if there's concerns from the public, that'll be brought up, and it's so we can request, well, what do you think about this? What do these guys say that there's other dangers involved, maybe we should get a study on that. And we can ask for that kind of stuff and when the need arises. I don't know that it needs to be in our regulations.
Well, I'm just wondering, I mean, if we put all these in and they're required to bring all this stuff to us, are we gonna really know what we're looking at? Because I have no clue about some of this stuff. And so is it just a paper trail? Or-
it's accountability. If you're in an agricultural zone, some of the prime farmland in Platte County is east of Chugwater, where they're proposing this. That's a big ask to change beautiful farmland into industrial land. So it's a way for us to be accountable as a county, to ask them, can you show that you can be safe with your turbines on these things? What about that fiberglass, 137 pounds per year per turbine out on the beautiful farmland?
And see, and I think some of that is good for the public to come and ask that when they're asking for a permit to do this. But as far as requiring, the way I'm reading this, and maybe I'm wrong, but the way I'm reading it is you're wanting them to provide all these documents for us to look at the public meeting, and here we are an hour and a half into our meeting, and we've got through 9 pages, and these A through J looks to me like it could be several thousands of pages of documents that I have no education on what is right or what is wrong. You're 137 pounds. I don't know if that's a number that you've made up or if that's a number that is true. So I mean, if I was going to do that, I would have to take another day and say, well, I've got to research that before I'm going to say yay or nay. So I think we're trying to make this maybe a little too complicated. And a lot of it is already protected by DEQ and the state, that they're not gonna allow these companies to come in and build them if they're not safe. I mean,
That's a misnomer.
That's a misnomer.
Can I just ask a question? My name's Catherine Stevens. So for a small landowner, wouldn't regulations like that be protective? So I live just under 3 miles from the proposed site, and I grow food and have animals and children, and wouldn't it be protective to have something in writing from the county so that a person such as myself could know, okay, my county requires that this company checks land, so like, if my garden has fiberglass in it, I have some recourse. It seems protective. It doesn't seem like there's any reason not
So,
to have it.
and my thinking of what you're just saying is you're wanting the county to build a case for you if you're gonna go against this wind generation, if you find the issues wrong. And I guess, to me, I think we're just trying to make this too complicated. And I'm not saying that they're the best things in the world, or they're not. I mean, I don't know enough about them to say they are or they're not. But if you throw a whole bunch more stuff at us up here the night that they come and ask for their permit, we're never gonna get it through, and they're never gonna get a permit, because we're not gonna know what is right and what is wrong.
But don't you wanna know before you make that decision?
We do,
We do.
We do wanna know, but
but we wanna know based on that project. It doesn't have to be part of our regulations to demand this kind of information from any company that wants to come in and do any project.
And I guess where I'm looking at is if this company comes in and asks to do it, and you folks that are 3 miles away come the night of the meeting and say, hey, we need to know if that fiberglass is actually gonna get on us. At that point, then this board could say, okay, we need to see some studies from this company of where that fiberglass is going.
Right.
And whether it's going 3 miles or it's going 1.5 miles, so that we can make an educated decision of putting well, then maybe your setback needs to be more than 3 miles or something. But if you just throw all this stuff at us, I don't see us being able to get through it.
And not just that, but they can also come to us with studies that say anything as well.
Well, that's why the testing would be like the actual dirt on the, you know what I'm saying? It seems very effective.
But you're not gonna know that until it's already built and it's already permitted.
Right. We need, I mean, hopefully.
So basically, you're telling me that,
But we also have it in the regulations that they have to continue to comply with our regulations ongoing.
Well, in my side, I would say it's no different than an oil company drilling a well somewhere. If a commission is smart, they'll say, we want pre-testing before you ever drill, so we see if your well's gonna be affected. I think that would be a recommendation to commissioners. Should say to any company, let's pre-test before we ever approve anything to make sure nothing has changed.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask for anything different than another industry would have to, you know, like the
Mhm.
accountability and transparency that they have to do so.
Some of the information that we're bringing out, since we brought them from Goshen County, there was a lot of information researched on this, because wind turbines have been in, and for a normal situation of a business, is basically a short period of time, and now we're finding out these different things that are happening. And they suppressed them a lot, and I know you all know this, because they wanted to sell the Green New Deal. And so a lot of that information has been suppressed, and now that we're able to go and find the researches and stuff like that, it's alerting the people that there can be some life-changing damage to individuals that are around this. And that's why we both felt, and a bunch of the other people that were helping us, it was important to put it in, because like one of your committee people said, he didn't know what to ask. So if you're up there in that position and you don't know what to ask, but yet if we have the alternative, it's in here, then it's already in here and nobody has to really worry about it. You just have to ask for the studies or whatever, just the proof of that. You wouldn't have to go and do research every time for the new stuff that's coming out, because technology is coming out and these turbines do have challenges. They even just a couple of years ago put in the medical industry of wind turbine syndrome, which is one of these things that some of this is happening. And so it's an absolutely true thing. And I know a lot of people haven't heard about it yet, but it's very, very real. And that's why we were putting in the protections.
We're aware of these things. We've done a lot of research, and so that's why they.
Anthony, I hate to put you on the spot all the time, but can you give us any information whether or not these type of applications, requirements exist in other projects? Do you have to do anything like that? Or have you been asked to do anything like that anywhere else? I
I can only speak to the projects I've personally worked on.
That's all I'm asking.
To be honest with you, Chairman, but, we have to go through a very robust process, a very diligent process at the state level that encompasses a lot of what I think is being addressed here. There are 19 state agencies in Wyoming that have to opine on our project at the state level. It's a very good process. It's been, set up by state statute for a reason. And it's not an easy process to go through, but it's done very diligently, that is what I would say.
Mr. Chairman, if I could comment, I don't know what the process is on this, but could I?
If you would, please state your name.
Thank you. I'm Wyoming Secretary of State Chuck Gray. Part of why it's important to get these provisions into the regulations is because of how 18-5-504 is written. And it says, no board of county commissioners shall issue a permit. No board of county commissioners shall issue a permit for a facility if that facility, when you go to Romanet I, does not comply with standards properly adopted by the Board of County Commissioners for the construction of wind energy facilities or solar energy facilities. So tethering these things into the standards is really important. And I understand what you're saying about conditions and what the practice has been on that, but in providing a legal basis for either acceptance or denial of a permit, especially denial, putting this into the standards is into the rules is really, really important. And, pushing back a little bit on the NextEra representative, I mean, it's just like the conversation we had a minute ago about the county preserving its rights against the municipalities. I mean, county should be preserving its rights against the state here. I mean, this is a process that I suppose is overseen by the governor, but is a regulatory process as opposed to the Board of County Commissioners, which is elected by the people. And I think it's really important to preserve, they're separate processes, but it's important to preserve the county's rights to deny these permits in certain situations. And I think having this somewhere in the rules is important in that respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Where do we want to leave this?
What's your thought? I don't think it's something else.
I'm not a lover of lots of rules. I was always proud of Wyoming when these books were a lot less than what they are today.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate what you're saying on that.
Marty's the chairman.
Yeah, I know. I'm speaking through the chairman, but, and what is your name, sir?
Brockman.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Brockman or Mr. Brockman. I think when you look at the president today, I mean, he said, we're not gonna do this anymore in this country anymore. That's what he posted today. And so, I think we're getting a more complex society. Certainly, I'm a strong conservative, but when you have a whole industry that's built on these woke subsidies, it requires, because the whole industry is built on that. And so they built themselves on the government, and so the regulatory structure to provide some oversight over an industry totally built on these subsidies, I would argue is there's a predicate for it. But I certainly appreciate what you're saying.
And I would agree with you that they exist only because of the tax credits.
Yes.
Bingo.
I would love to see nuclear reactors all over the country,
Let's move on.
okay?
We didn't do it.
I say we revisit this section
I agree.
so we can maybe do a little homework ourselves, a little research.
I do have some comments in there that if any of it's kept, there should probably be some definitions for, it sounds obvious, but blade glint, shadow flicker, ice throw, just to make sure it's clearly defined. If they're requiring anything what that is. How do you?
Sure.
I agree.
It's ice throw and shadow flicker.
And Blake Clint. But I know I'm way outside my lane here, but B, and I know you wanna move on, but personally, I think B is our responsibility in the industrial siting process. Where those, I think it's personally our responsibility to say what the impact of our roads will be.
I would agree that costs us money.
This is no offense intended, but I think any developer is going to estimate the impact is less than we will. So I'd like to estimate our impact is higher.
Well, we look at that on any
So-
project.
Right, if you're talking about B in this section right here that we're
Yeah,
talking about, yeah, and that is addressed later as well. As far as our original safety regulations, we've got the, the minimum 8-foot fence and all that stuff.
Could I make a suggestion? Would it be possible to put it in there as like at your guys' discretion or the county commissioner's discretion to do these studies? That way it's there kind of in the law, but if you don't want to do it or you don't feel like it's necessary, you could do that.
And it is already in there, at that level, that's okay. Back in the very beginning, we were talking about it. It's not like something else.
We're gonna move on to page 10.
Oh, I have a observation. On page 9, 33, anti-climbing devices,
Yeah, I saw that.
12 feet. Bob's got a couple grand boys that could clear 40 feet easy.
Indeed.
That's what the rope is for.
Anthony, do your turbines have signage like they're asking for in this? I would assume they do, but I don't know that.
Generally speaking, they don't. And to be clear, I don't know where you are in this red line document. What type of signage, I guess, are you?
Billboards.
No, we don't have any billboards. Generally speaking, the vendor that we choose is not advertised. That's not a common practice.
Other signage.
Yeah,
back-
we're on the,
Back in the design standards.
Yeah.
You have the whole thing.
no, that's what I say, that's already been addressed.
And all the sidewalk, and high voltage, and all that's already in there.
Those will be there, sure, where they're applicable and needed. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know about.
I don't know where we are. We weren't even given a.
I thought you did.
No, I don't know where we are.
You're on page 9.
I don't.
On line 6 and 7.
It's all good. Yeah. I don't know.
Say that again.
There's page 10, page 125, page 10, page 125. This is it.
Oh,
Where are you at?
We're on page 10.
We're on page 10?
22.
Line 22?
What
Can I-
is this?
what did you decide anything on E, on the signage?
I was
I think
getting
we
this.
decided on the signage that we already addressed the signage back in the design standards.
Okay.
Some of this body on O, on page 9,
That's what happened.
is that what you're talking about? Oh.
No, on 10,
Page 10, what line?
On page 10, we're on line 5P, signage, but we've already addressed that in the design
I
standards.
think some of that signage was more safety oriented.
Well, that's what this is.
If
This
you read
is
through it, there's
about-
just a ton of stuff about, we thought those were really good safety things, because if all of those emergency numbers are everywhere, then if something happens, even the local guys can go out there and check, you know what I'm saying? Somebody can check. If somebody drives by, because this is 313 we're talking about, right? If they've got signage that people can see, or go on the roads, and nobody's there, some of that's really important stuff to have, I think, for safety. That's why we included that. Okay, and that was nowhere else in the original, so. It's just safety stuff, continuation of safety. That's all I want to say. Tell me.
So on line 6 and 7, it's by saying road right of way. YDOT's got a fairly robust right of way requirement for signage, and I don't know if we can make them put a sign in a state right of way.
Right. Probably not.
Again, that came from Sweetwater. Already approved. It's all good.
They may be able to make this state put a sign that was safe right away, who knows?
What did you say, Dean?
So Sweetwater may be able to convince the state to let them put a sign there right away.
I think it's a duplicate of what we had earlier.
The signage is already been addressed.
Whether we leave it in or we take it out.
Page 10, so the rest of us follow.
Here, this is page 10.
This is.
Oh, okay, it says
Yeah.
page 8. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm not so confused. Yeah.
That's because sorry, I was clicking on
No,
a different
that's
page.
fine.
But-
Oh, yeah, okay, now it's page 10, got it.
So you're saying take P out?
Thank you.
So is that what you're saying, Mel Penny? Whatever that is, P, is it P?
P.
Did you say you're taking all of that out? Is that what you said, Mel?
But that's what I asked.
You guys think? First in a row.
Me personally, I'd like to leave it in. I think it's pretty important to identify the facility, have some contact numbers.
I think it's pretty pertinent information. I'm good with leaving it.
Are you? I mean, it does already say that in our other signage.
I understand.
Okay.
Just maybe if they read it twice, they'll get it.
All right.
I mean, really, it's very simple. Signing is very simple. It's very inexpensive. Multiple, every terminal, I'm assuming is the same KV, whatever, you know, same phone number, same. If they have 30 turbines, make 30 signs.
Sure, if the landowners don't want their name and phone number.
Maybe the landowners, maybe they don't need their name and phone number on it. I think that's up for a discussion.
And as far as it being located on the roadside, that's maybe difficult.
I don't think I'm gonna guess that's up to County Road and Bridge and the state
And the state.
Yep.
Yeah.
to where the signage should be placed.
Just generally, when we were going through these things, it's always better to have redundancy more times than not have it. So that's kind of what we were thinking, and let you guys decide. Which is better, which covers it better.
Yeah, I'm good with leaving it. I think safety's pretty important. And there again, it's a sign.
Okay.
Just take out landowner name.
Yeah,
Or question mark that one for now, we can think about that too.
I guess I'm just trying to think, if I was the landowner, would I want them calling me? I'm not
I probably-
responsible.
Yeah,
I would just soon you call company.
The company.
Yeah. Because how many times somebody could drive by and just be ornery and
Pick up.
pick up the phone and call just to be a shit.
Wouldn't that be fun?
So I don't think
Scratch four.
What? Yeah.
See if they don't shoot us on sign first.
What is the?
So that's on IV or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think the landowner's phone number needs to be
Yeah,
on
the
there.
landowner doesn't need to be on there.
And honestly, that could be at discretion of the landowner. If he wants to put it on there, let him put it on there. Why make it?
Well, I have my phone number on my no trespassing signs.
Oh, there you
You
go.
know,
But that's what I
so
said, if
that's
the landowner
my
wants it on there,
discretion.
that should be in agreement with the wind company.
What is the fluid containment?
Anthony, I gotta ask you another question. The fluid containment, are these facilities, do they have anything like that on top of the turbine?
Sure they have, some kind of gear oil or something.
Well, I know they do, but is there a containment system within
Oh, within the.
the housing?
I don't know what you mean by containment or housing.
So the turbine's up there spinning, it's oiled, lubricated. If there's a leak, where does the oil go?
Where does it go?
Does it stay within the confines of the turbine, or does it come to the ground?
Generally speaking, the major components of a wind system are housed in the cell at the top of the wind turbine.
Yep.
So generally speaking, all the components would stay inside the cell.
Ian, you had a thought, I can see.
It's regulated by SPCC at the EPA at the federal level. Anything over 50 gallons, or maybe it's 500 gallons now, any oil, petroleum product or whatever it is, has to have spill prevention, containment, and countermeasures.
Thank you.
And we
That was my
also have
question.
those in our state application
Yes.
as well, along with emergency management plans and everything that
So we don't need
is
that.
contained in this section here.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Anthony.
Yes, sir.
And inspection.
What are we gonna inspect it for?
Exactly. That's more like if there's a complaint or something,
What was your intention
just
on
like
that one?
any special use
On the
permit, if
inspection?
there's some type of a complaint.
It's kind of,
then it's-
you were asking earlier, you're having these regulations, but how are we going to verify they're doing it? Then that inspection allows you to check.
But
Look, we're not knowledgeable in that field. Platte County can't afford to hire an inspector.
But it allows you to,
issue so cheap.
Then maybe it needs to be worded different.
I'm sure, isn't there some oversight committee that make sure that they're doing the project correctly according to the federal regulations and all of that?
I don't have a problem with saying that, yeah, the county has the right to that. Okay. So
I would think the
Well,
county would have
we
the
don't
right
know,
to-
but we might want to, we see there's issues.
Would the county not have the right to go inspect it, whether or not they have?
You'd have to have
Yeah,
a
they could
landowner's
keep you out.
permission.
It's now their baby.
Chuck, do you have any insight on that?
What is the question, sorry?
On the landowner, or does the county have the right to go and,
Does the state have anybody that checks wind turbine sites,
Checks enforcement?
more or less?
Yeah, I have to look into that. I'd be shocked if the DEQ didn't. I mean, I think they definitely have an enforcement division.
I would be shocked too.
there'd be some kind of a site
But I-
information, but somebody that that is making sure they're doing the job properly, right?
Yeah, and Keith and I are gonna meet with them on Monday. I'm not sure though that they would claim that they would enforce any county regulations. You know, that's gonna be the problem, right? Even though it's a political subdivision of the state, that's where they might draw the line.
Thank you.
I guess I don't have a problem with leaving that in there.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't either.
I don't know how we get to 0 decibels on that.
I don't either. I mean, there's noise pollution everywhere. I don't know how you're gonna
Sure.
sort that out. The wind makes noise just by itself.
I don't know what,
Can you guys
the state regulations.
get on board with how we have them?
I think they should be lower than 50 on the first one.
So what happens, and I'm not being honest here, but what happens when the wind blows 80 mile an hour 3 days in a row?
It's a different sound.
It's a different sound, but it's still a
Still
sound.
drives me crazy.
It's still a decibel. It's still measured in decibels. And it still drives us crazy, but we still live here.
And riding my tractor and
Yeah,
all the other
I think
stuff
that one
we
would
do
be a
in
hard-
our
But these are
agricultural
like,
business.
the wind blows a lot, maybe 24/7 sometimes. It's constant, it's constant. So I think a little relief there would be very helpful for, I think around 40.
I don't know, we would have to do some research
yeah,
with the
that's one of
average
the things
things are, you know, how, what is the average decibel of the wind turbine?
I think we need to ask that question.
Yeah.
That would too.
I doubt it.
Like we can't leave, we have to leave it as it is at this time, because we can't go to 0, right?
Yeah, and I don't know what.
So I think we need to.
Do you know
we need
the
to
average
revisit that.
decibel? I'm sure it depends on how fast the wind's blowing, the pitch of the blades. I can't imagine how you would ever know that.
It all depends on the current conditions.
Yeah, I just think that's gonna be
Yeah,
a,
like a low and a high.
I'd have to get that information out of that one.
okay.
Chairman
Do you
Martin.
guys know?
We actually had a tour over at Medicine Bow. Shockley, Steve Shockley was with us as well. And Keith Miller, who is the expert on the best information, he had what you call a decibel reader, and we were up close to them. And I don't know the readings, I can get them for you, but that's where we were basing some of these on, along with she's looking.
So if I remember right, we were approximately 1,000 feet from one of those big turbines. I don't know what it was height, but I think it ranged from 38 to 42. It fluctuated while we were there.
So, but obviously if the setbacks are 1250, you're not gonna be that close. So the decibel should be less.
Okay, so I looked up the average decibels of an AC unit, which you have right next to your neighbor, right next to your door. It's 40 to 70 decibels for your AC unit, your own, your neighbor's. So 50,
So I'd say we're pretty well in the range. Thank you.
Yeah. We can still do a little research on it.
Yeah, maybe that's.
No, we're not gonna get to 0 though.
Yeah, yes, I think these are a little bit higher because they're older. A lot of regs have come down that we've looked at.
Okay.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. That's a tough one.
What's your thoughts on D?
I don't like it. Not entirely, that's what you say.
J, D?
You're on D.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it. It's kind of the transparency thing. Remember Tina Willis, when she was on the board, she'd always say, what are you doing to be a good neighbor? You know, and they need to make people aware of what's going on. I like that one.
I think I'm fine with leaving it, because it just depends on what they ask for and what they're willing to give them.
What
do you
does
think,
it mean
Bob?
by, on line 36, the easement?
Yeah.
Is that just pertaining to sound?
No, that's pertaining, oh,
those-
well, I guess that is, it is in the noise section.
But
So,
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
like that
suppose
question,
so.
though, Malcolm. Explain to me about the non-participating landowner is made aware of all risk in writing associated with granting the easement. Such as what?
Yeah, that part doesn't make sense.
Can you explain to me that?
I think, are you on D? Is that what you're on?
Yes.
The non-participating landowner is made aware of all risks in writing
So,
associated with granting the easement.
what do you mean by that?
What easement's being granted?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I think it could
And
read the non-participating
it's like
landowner is
the-
made aware of all risk in writing, period. Maybe. It would
All
simplify it.
risks. Okay.
Okay.
We just listed them out.
No, I know, I'm not sure what associated with granting the easement.
But it is under the noise section, so does
Right.
it just the risks pertaining to the noise?
I don't know.
Or
Is it,
does that need to be in a different section?
No, this is all related to noise. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. If you
So-
take out granting the easement, yeah. Non-participating owners made aware of all risks in writing associated with
Such risks of potential adverse consequences.
And then 38 and 39, for property value issues, including how much a lease could affect financing and future sales of the property, that's so speculative.
What?
So, it's so speculative.
yeah, I don't
You know,
think-
actually, probably what it really should say, and here's what I would say, it should say within 12 miles instead of the easement. Because that's how far infrasound goes, and that's where the health effects really are a problem.
So you
That's
think
during the
every-
day.
Every landowner within 12 miles?
Absolutely,
And that's
absolutely.
But only if they're non-participating landowners.
You could say participating and non-participating, if you're, yeah, it should be everybody actually within 12 miles of the turbines.
And that's during the
Participating.
day.
Yeah, at night it's 55 miles. So, yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, as far as the property values, you never really know about that. For sales and all
Let's
of
just
that.
cut part of it out of there.
I don't know.
Yeah, because the wind company's not gonna know how it's gonna affect the property value.
Well,
Now, just to make a quick comment, you guys aware, the insurance companies who are binding people along these are refusing to insure their property for any damage created by these facilities.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that, Mark. I think we would have to do a little investigating ourselves. I find that hard to believe, but that's just my opinion. 12 miles away. I don't know.
So if you rewrite line 27 after associated, with 36. Oh,
So I'm confused.
sorry.
26.
I printed mine before, I'm using an old copy, sorry. Okay, non-participating is made aware of all risks in writing associated with,
Chairman Shepherd, I have a question. Who's gonna define the risks?
I don't know.
their
That's
regulations.
what I say, that's a,
Well, I think that goes back to Bonnie's question, if it's in the noise section, if I'm the planner and I'm reading this, I'm saying auditory risks, since we're talking noise. And so if it's intended to be a notification of further risks, it should be in a different section. That's how I read it.
Question, I have a question. Would, in the sound section, would that also be the same section where, like, the infrasound risks, which they were talking about, is that gonna be, it's all vibrations essentially, just whether you can hear them or not is irrelevant, but it's like, so that would be in that section,
I would
12
think
miles
so.
or whatever.
And I think that's another one that would have to be defined too as infrasound.
Oh, do we not have that, or do they not have that in?
It's not in our current, infrasound is not in our current definitions or regulations.
Absolutely, that should be in there. Yes,
I
you're
mean,
right.
it's not in our current definitions because it's not referenced in our current.
Right.
Oh, no, it's not in the current
So
one.
it's
No, it needs to be added.
Yeah, we need to add
Absolutely. Yeah.
definition.
We just, yeah, you're right, absolutely, it has to be added.
So how do you want that to read? I'm asking. Not that I'm gonna agree or we're gonna agree, but I'm asking how you want it to read.
Oh, yeah, the non-participating landowner, or landowner is made aware of all risks in writing associated with.
I had non-participating landowners within 12 miles are made aware of all risks in writing.
Thank you, that's right, Matthew, thank you, perfect. Within 12 miles, there you go, that's where that should go. The non-participating landowner within 12 miles, any should say, maybe any non-participating or all non-participating are made aware, within 12 miles, made aware of all risks in writing from effects, adverse health effects from infrasound. I mean, you could make it specific to infrasound.
You could, but I'm gonna, and who out of your group is going to define the risk? No,
Catherine,
no,
Well, I'm not the authority, I've just done the research on that particular.
I'm just saying, who's,
I have a question. Back to who defines the risk. It says the developer is required to notify the landowner of the risks.
correct.
Uh-huh.
They know
What if-
of the risks.
hang on.
What if their science and their research shows there's no risk?
Exactly.
Just present the people with both, because that's how science is, right? You have
So
to
if
look
it's
at
the
fact.
developer's requirement to do that,
Responsible.
That's
a
a good point.
responsibility.
Yeah, it's his responsibility, not ours.
So how would people within 12 miles, let's say, learn about these things?
I have
Should
no
they be
idea.
aware if when the wind turbines come into the community, should they be aware, if you live 12 miles away, should you be aware, like, I mean, because a lot of people don't even do the research, right? Is it fair to let them know that this is coming and it's a problem and
I think it's fair to let them know, but I don't think it's up to you to let them know that it's a problem, because you're not 100% sure it's a problem. 100% you're not.
And there's a lot of research out there that does have that, I guess.
Is there any court cases that say infrasound has done damage to someone?
I'll have to look that up. There are ICD-9 codes from doctors and medical studies, lots of them at this point.
That's, in the end of this is where everything will be decided is in court. And so everything that's in here needs to be defensible in a court.
Mhm.
And so we're picking numbers from wherever, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
a lawyer has to be able to defend these, not defend these.
There is a law
That's
firm in
where I was
Texas
at
that has
on
taken
this
on a
whole
lot of these
safety
cases.
thing,
and
too.
doing
There's
all
the-
these
there's the answer to
studies
your
and
question.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Anybody can say anything. How do
It's-
you know?
If notifications the concern, you do have a section where it's in your general provisions where you notify adjacent landowners.
Yes.
Maybe it's just an increased zone for notifications.
Just to increase the distance.
For this-
Instead of a mile, it's.
Right now, it's just
Right
adjacent
now, it's only
landowners, so whoever
adjacent
touches it.
landowners, but just make
And
it.
so like the town of
within
Wheatland,
it.
it's a certain distance from the project.
Mhm.
The county is adjacent
Right.
to the project.
Might have to
That might be
revisit
where
that.
we,
Yeah.
do that. Just
And it
cut
might
this
be
out.
12 miles and 55 miles.
So let's do that, let's just take that out and then address it in the, what Malcolm was talking. You say it's farther back, Malcolm, or?
When the notifications go out of the
For any
permit.
public hearing, yeah. Oops, for any special use permit, I mean.
We can just put that in there, the mileage or whatever in there. Zero goes away.
For what it's worth,
Right, and
that's probably something that needed addressed. With how many simple subdivisions you have right now, the theory of notifying adjacent landowners is when everything was 160 acres, right? And so now, where you've got so many 5-acre parcels, adjacent doesn't mean quite what it used to. So,
especially for a project like this.
I don't know, I still don't necessarily like it, because I'm thinking outside the box, not only wind turbines, there's a lot of risk and a lot of other things every time the ag sprayer goes out, every time the planes fly over, every time there's risk everywhere we look. Listen, hear, see. I mean, when the military flies over us, there's risk. That happens daily, from Guernsey to Wheatland Airport flies over my every day. I mean, I'm not ever notified
You're
of that risk.
bombing and doing all kinds of stuff while you're there.
And there again, you have to define the risk. What's the risk? Yeah, the helicopter falls out of the air, lands on my head. What are the odds? Not saying it can't happen, but there's risks everywhere we go.
well, I think Bill's suggestion was cut that new portion out of D, and then just go back and look at who has to be notified that somebody's made it.
When we send the notification, I like that.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then they can do their own homework and figure out whether,
Diligence of the landowner,
and they can come to us and say, hey,
we're concerned about. Yeah, about zero can go away,
I say we do one more page, it's 8:30, and then we need to readdress this in another, and hopefully,
Well,
I don't see it going any faster, but I want to go through it.
If you get 11 pages done, each workshop, you only have 4 to go after this.
Oh, you're a funny man.
Put a lot of them are cross-outs.
we're at another thing here.
Yeah. Or do you want to,
That are like 2 pages of red and.
so do you want to,
You know,
tell me what you're thinking? Spit it out.
No, I want somebody else to spell out for change. I mean, it's still having to do with the noise, okay, so.
Well, can I just read through it? Because I have not read as far as you
Yes,
obviously.
Go for it. Or no, sorry, it's not noise. It's visual references.
I think we're good down to E.
Yeah, that's all for sure. What we currently have.
And he's talking about sound again.
It's like, right, that's what I mean, the next couple of years.
Well, I'm not as fast a reader as you are, Bonnie. Maybe you were cheating and reading
I
ahead.
was just, well, I've been reading it for 2 days. So,
Because this was the original.
So we're all thinking of it.
No, it's still, those are goals, other studies and stuff. Have you proven that right or wrong? It's not, I don't think it's appropriate, it's just something not had regulation.
We've already talked about before, being the 12 miles, we've already talked about that. On page 12.
Oh, you're already on page 12, I thought you were still on
Yeah.
11, wow. You're reading faster than I thought, Marty.
Well, I can read.
I know. You just wrote quiet how far behind you were.
Well, I wasn't. I didn't read it before. I said when the meeting started, I haven't taken the time to read it.
I know.
I'm still talking about.
Let's try to get to where it's going to stop there.
Try to ask you guys to do more zones for when those regulations.
I need more information on the sound stuff. There's a lot of stuff there.
I don't think that we can require anybody to provide. I just think that that's something that we ask for if and when the time arises.
You know, I'm flying in and out of an airport down at Denver quite often, little Erie Airport, and next to there is a substation. I'm flying a helicopter, and there's a sound restriction. But do you really believe I'm concerned about that sound restriction when I have more important gauges I'm looking at in that thing?
I agree. Well, it all pertains to the sound.
Saying it.
And I have a hard time believing that, where did the rest, like E and F, G, H?
Yeah.
Where did all of those regulations come from? Does somebody else in the state have those in their regs?
I have it, we got a lot of that from Sweetwater.
Yeah.
Those guys got a lot of time on their hands.
They do have a lot of regulations, and you know, like Red Desert has their own set of regulations just for Red Desert, Sweetwater County. It's kind of a difference.
I'd say a lot of that's just redundancy.
I personally don't see we need any of that, but E through.
I agree,
What do you guys think?
they want some more information on it.
Yeah, I'd like more information on that, but I think we could probably admit a lot of that.
Are you talking, did you look at IV there?
Yes.
What page and line was it?
12.
My friend's kind of, let me get the notes here. It's
Line
IV.
24.
We're on page 12?
Yeah.
Is that where you're at?
Yeah. 11 and 12,
IV?
That sort of
E
is.
through H.
That sort of addresses the 12 miles.
Yeah, that's why I said it's kind of redundancy. We talked about that back in the other, so I don't know if we need it.
If you
One or
keep-
the
if-
other needs
if you
to at
keep-
least be left in.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep one in at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say we call it a night. It's not just, that's just my opinion, so I'm up for it.
I don't know, it's like in some ways, you wanna just.
I know,
keep going
and
get
I'd
this
love
much
to just
done,
sit here and
but
get it done, but
I do have like a bump camp, I gotta go home.
well,
You know, like
we all have jobs.
Stuff like that.
So start back to page 11.
No, start back page 13.
12.
12 with K.
Visual.
Visual
Yeah.
appearance.
Yeah,
What did
where do
you
you,
decide?
wait till you get to K.
What did you decide?
No, I know.
E, F, G, and H.
Right. But come back, we wanna gather some information on the noise. But as of right now, because it's already talked about in the 12-mile thing earlier.
Couple questions. Catherine has a question. Are we allowed to email you?
Like if I wanted to send you guys some of the I mean, I wouldn't send you random articles, but the studies that have taken me probably, weeks to find, so it saves you time, so you can see, oh, this is from the NIH, this is, whatever. Can I send that to you by email or?
If you email it to me, I'll make it part of their record, and then I'll distribute it.
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't mind. I would like to gain the knowledge, so you're,
Malcolm, I've got a question for you. Can we put a copy of the proposed regs on the website so that people can download them and anybody can have them to bring them? Or
that'd be a good idea.
Sure. I'll put a disclaimer up there that those aren't the recommendations of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yes.
But recommendations of the public.
As presented to.
Yes, I'll work on it.
if people wanted to follow along, they would be able to.
That's a good idea, so that they can review them.
Someone has already approached me saying that in the regulations where you question the California regs and we all question California, the UL is not listed in there and probably should be. All the regulations, you read warning labels on anything electrical and it has a UL listing, and that's not listed in this so far.
In our county regs, but that comes more from the state level and federal level probably. I don't know how far up that, I'm sure it's probably, what'd you say?
The UL?
I mean, I don't think that's something we need to cover in our county regs.
Thank you for all your time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Let's set a date for the next one, so we can
Oh, shoot.
have it and move on.
Okay.
I guess in my opinion, the sooner the better. We gotta get through them.
As far as the rest of the month, the only days I am not available would be next Monday or next Thursday.
And 7 o'clock would be better. We're starting a little fall harvest and 6 o'clock's early.
Yeah, but by 7 o'clock, then we don't get very much time.
That's true. That's true. I'll give you that. Let's go at 6 o'clock.
Wednesday is not a good day.
So we're going through solar and battery after this?
No, not at this time, not yet. We gotta get through this first.
Well, this is just.
Would you rather go on a Tuesday?
Tuesday
Is that
works
kind of our
for me.
normal?
Yeah, it'd be better.
The 26th would work fine.
26?
I'll have two specials that day.
What about what?
Nothing. The commissioners meet that day at 9,
Oh,
and so I just was
On the
saying,
26th they do?
yeah,
No, you don't have 3 meetings in a month.
they have a special meeting on Tuesday. It's 1 or 2 special, but that's okay.
27, Wednesday?
The 26th,
Bill
6
cannot
p.m.
do the 27th. Tuesday the 26th at 6?
I might not be here.
You might not be here.
I don't know what you need it for.
Did you say Monday was up?
What's
What
that?
day is it?
Monday, not do Monday or Thursday next week.
Monday I won't be available.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to check with commissioners as well.
In all fairness, it's your meeting,
Yeah,
Well,
Commissioner.
and it is on YouTube, so they can go back and review.
It's just nice to have the reviews so long.
I get it. I'm just saying, I worry about your 5 schedules.
Can we do Tuesday on the 27th?
26th?
The 27th at 6?
That's Wednesday.
Wednesday, sorry, 26th at 6.
I don't know if I'm gonna be around that week.
26th or Tuesday?
August 26th.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't.
Is Marty gonna be here?
That week.
You won't be here all week?
There's a chance. I have something on Monday for sure, and then
We got the time.
I'm iffy on.
And you can't do next week, or Bill?
Not the 27th.
That's how.
So you want us to wait till that's how this information.
I would like you to, but you can run without me, I don't care.
So what about the second? Second work for everybody?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I'm in Denver, maybe, September 2nd.
You could chop her in.
Yeah.
I'm in a 3-day meeting that week.
The first week of September you are?
You can push the wrong way.
So you're thinking maybe the 4th?
Wait a minute, I gotta get to September. 4th I can be back.
I can't.
You wanna do it the 4th?
September 4th is fine.
6 o'clock, 4th, Bonnie?
Yeah, I think so. So what we've got right here.
So what did we decide for?
Bill? You did?
The Thursday, the 4th, is that what you're saying?
I'm asking, does that work for you?
I think it does.
I'm pretty sure it will.
I wish it was sooner, but there's too many, we just have too much
Well,
going
yeah,
on.
so-
Either that or this,
That'd be fine.
not this Friday, but next Friday.
And at 4, you say, or 6?
6, not
Six.
the 4th at 4,
But
no.
it's yeah, I just want to clarify, so
No.
it's the 4th at 6.
Yes.
Same
That
place?
sound
Is
good?
that right, guys?
Yeah, unless you wanna go on
I
Friday.
can do that right now.
That one I'm not sure of. That's what's that.
And
Okay, no, it's 4th.
Let's do it.
The fourth at four,
Workshop.
the fourth at 6.
4th at 6.
Fourth at
Got that,
6.
Malcolm?
4th at 6.
Thank you all for your time.
Appreciate yours.
Thank you.
We'll get through it.
Call, cut.
Jay Lee's over there for a minute.
Maybe the Cavs are bringing like 24